Hey guys, this is John in Los Angeles with the Alpha Channel update for Thursday, June 20th, 2024. It's almost the longest day of the year. Tomorrow will be. But I'm more excited about this. Conan 153. This is a cover by Gary Capwise. This is his first work, his first published work in comics. I had to look it up who it was to see who had drawn this because it's not listed inside. The inside is John Buscema and a different writer, I believe. So yeah, it's Michael Fleischer wrote the script. John Buscema draws the interior, which we're going to go through in a second, which is also awesome. But this is Gary Capwise's first published work, and it's really good. He had a lot of stuff in Savage Sword and Conan Saga. I think a lot of his stuff got reprinted. I once saw a guy at a convention who was showing off a portfolio that was basically, he was a Gary Capwise clone. He had modeled his style completely on Gary Capwise to the point that I was standing next to him. I was like, dude, I've seen that in a comic. And I'm like, are you famous? Did you get published? I was a kid. And he was showing it to some people and they were like, see what I mean? And I didn't understand what I had stumbled into. And he was kind of embarrassed. They're like, see, your art looks just like that other artist. And I quickly walked away. I was so embarrassed. My face turned red. But anyhow, this is a great story. This is John Buscema doing the interior. Conan is having a perfect, beautiful day. And then the bridge breaks and he loses his horse. He thanks Crom that he didn't die. He doesn't really thank Crom. He just says Crom. And then he talks about who Crom is and how Crom wouldn't answer his prayers anyhow. He walks into town and sees this girl getting bullied by the local land baron, who says he wants to take her home and she's not having it. Oh, and here is a commercial for Conan, the King Conan number 20. And I don't know if I have it or not. I do have a bunch of King Conans. I didn't get rid of those either. Conans were the only thing I kept, the Conan comics. I have a few other titles that I kept. I have 2 long boxes, as I once had like 27. And that was a big thing to let that go. But it was necessary. It happened a few years ago. And circumstances are what they are. So anyhow, check this out. Conan and the girl end up fighting back to back down in the bottom. He just gets drawn into it because the guards are sort of rough when they run past him and he's not having it. He punches one of them in the face right down here at the bottom. And then by the bottom of the next page, he's back to back with the hot chick. Of course, you know, it's a movie. Of course he is. So, and then the city guard gets called out, the town guard, the village guard, and they're afraid that was going to happen because those guys, they have more in number, and you know they're not like the Baron's henchmen. And so they get this is awesome. They get sent to jail. They get thrown in prison, and she has a magic ring that blows a hole in the wall, and they go out and steal a couple horses from the town, from the village, the militia stables, and they go on the run, and then they're attacked. The next page, this book, every 2 pages, something awesome is happening. Now they're attacked by these dragonfly guys that you saw on the cover, and Conan quickly knocks a guy off and takes his own, and the girl has wings. So she's not just a girl with a magic ring, she's also a girl with wings. She's Hawk Girl, right? And then after the fight, so this is, one of the guys knocks her out and Conan has to rescue her. This is just insane. This is comic books. This is where she gets knocked out and rescued. And he takes her down and, yeah. He lets her sleep. This is not boring at all. And yet the character is perfect. It's like it's a perfect version of Conan. He does everything. He's so in character. Here's an ad for Mr. T and the Smurfs. I think this is Saturday morning cartoons. It must be. And this is the mandatory flashback where she explains how her sky village was at war with the Batwing Sky Village. And her village, they came up with a magic cylinder that empowered a magic fence, a magenta fence, a gold magic cylinder powered a magenta laser fence They have names for all this nonsense. But it's just, this is awesome. There's a very bad ad for Doctor Strange and a Corvette. This is fucking, this is peak comic book. This is Thunder, this is peak Conan 153. It's awesome. And so then we learn the second half of the war between the Batman and the Angel people. It's almost like the Aesir and if the Dark Elves had wings. And so basically one of the Angel people went against his own clan and stole the cylinder and fell to earth. And he was mortally wounded, and the wizard ended up with the cylinder. We don't even know what happened to the angel guy yet. This is just a hilarious comic. Of course, there's an evil wizard in a castle because it's Conan. And that's what is out in the countryside. And so now Conan and the Hawk Girl have to fight through the evil wizard's guards and to try, they're this lot down here with these shields and helmets. This is just peak comics. I think they've been through 6 sets of guards in 20 pages. You know what I mean? So it's like every 2 pages, every 4 pages. And now this is it. They're getting closer to the wizard and they fight off some more guards. They fight off some more bad guys. And the wizard sets his last trap. And that is a 3-headed lizard snake. The wizard's lizard snake guardian. 3-headed Cerberus. This is just fucking awesome. Oh, look, James Bond, 007. Even the ads in this are brilliant. This is 80s comics all the way. Conan, like a baseball Hall of Famer, just lopping heads off, with a long-necked snake monster. What are you gonna do besides decapitate it? Oh, you're gonna pierce it through the neck. And then through the heart, and he kills it, but the girl has been wounded. How did she get hit? Yeah, so one of the guards, you can see on this page here, one of the guards downs her with an arrow, because that's how you down a bird. This kind of sucks. I mean, it's been awesome. It's been all fun until here. And then you've got James Bond, right? James Bond ad. And you get to here and he kills the monster, which turns red for a second. I don't know why, but it does. And then the girl calls him back and she's dying. And she doesn't make it. She dies. And that's the end of the book. Girl died. The Hawk Girl died. It really kind of sucks. But it's a perfect comic book. This is a perfect... And here's the next best thing. I know what happens next. Maybe the Hawk Girl comes back alive. She does have all kinds of magic. So I happen to have 154. I never read any of these. These are older, and I bought them when I had money, as I was working as an editor, making like 10 grand a month. It was nice. It's like $500 a day. No, I'm certainly not making that now. Oh, check this out. Wildwood Tarot today. You guys are gonna love this. Wildwood Tarot. Here's the box. Now, the book, you can't really see as well because this takes your attention away from everything that's going on. But the Hooded Man is today's card, and you can see the little wren on, a log in the snow, and you can see the door in the background, and you can see his coat, his robe has little berries and leaves on it. So this is the card, the Hooded Man. I didn't know it was just a book. And I'm glad we can see the whole thing. Not having the text on it really... So this is bigger, but having the text on the front just completely... It makes it an advertisement, and my mind isn't interested in the art. But without the text on the front, a virgin cover... Now I see his hand, now I see his robe, I see the texture of his robe, I see the snow, I see the door in the background. I didn't see any of that with this because I didn't look. You know, doing these little things is teaching me more about myself than anything else. And thank God for that, because, you know, you may as well solve the problems money can't solve while you still don't have money. I've had money before, so if you have problems, solve them as soon as you notice them. And one of the things I want to do, so I have to keep this a little short today because, you know, busy back soon. AshleyFox.ninja. Check it out. We have this comic book there for you guys to read for free. And it's got a lot of awesome art. Some of the art I've been showing off here. And some of the art is actually in the comic. Ashley becomes a Valkyrie, like Valeria. And it's an awesome story how this happens. I've got probably 12 volumes of Ashley stuff to produce and give to you guys. The first 2 volumes are free as audiobooks right here on YouTube. And so today I want to go through that. I want to know these inside and out. I have these 7 alpha channel ideals that I use for writing. These are my writing ideals. So 1, clear conscience is the most expensive thing in the world and it's priceless. Once you get there, don't ever leave that spot. Don't ever compromise. It takes a lifetime to get to a clear conscience. Whatever you have to do to forgive yourself for all the things that went wrong, all the lessons you had to learn. So, yeah. Number 2, make your art. Learn how to make your art with no money or next to no money. Learn how to make your art super cheap so you can give it away. So it's easy to give it away. I have a bunch of art projects that are expensive, that are going to be expensive to sell, but they're only going to help fuel the studio. I have these things called prayer blocks where I print a 6-sided jigsaw puzzle on blocks, but I have to figure out how to make the blocks perfectly even. 18 of them over and over and over again. And that's not easy. So the third one is if you don't love producing your art, whatever your art is, if you don't love the day in, day out of doing it with a deadline, with no inspiration, if you don't love that, the pressure of coming up with something, if that becomes a grind for you, get out, because it will become a grind for the audience. And we saw one comic threw me off for a couple days. The next day I wasn't able to focus as well as I should have been, and I didn't do as good a review, and I had to go back and read it again because it was me, because I was messed up. And so a bad book can throw you off, but don't let it. That's why I'm glad I'm doing this every day. I'm making this like my workouts. And if I hadn't hurt my shoulder, I'm making this my part of my daily routine, reading a comic and then reviewing it to you guys, just telling you what I notice, what's important, what stands out. Loving the doing of it means finding a way to make it consistent. So making the art consistent is super important. And the way I'm doing that is I have these 12 virtues that I'm using as the values of the art, just like, value between light and dark. These 12 virtues are what I'm using. They're a big part of the story that I'm working on now. And then where the virtues as values don't guide you, go to nature for inspiration. If you need deeper inspiration than that, for me, that's what I'm doing. I just go take it from nature. I just go out and go listen, go observe and listen until I find something that I can, that fits the gap I'm trying to close. I have a big story and it's just a matter of closing gaps and then keeping the pace and the tone correct. So right now I'm working on an orchard scene where the kids go collect grapefruits and oranges for their skate session. And that's been really fun. This is number 6. I've been victim of this myself. Do not push agenda into the work. It will make you hate the work, and then you start doing it for an entirely different. This is higher level. This is definitely base level, working up. So if you've got a clear conscience, if you can do it with no money, if you love the doing of it, if you're really excited about it every day, and you're using the same virtues, consistent virtues to guide the value of your story, because you're building a story in the world. If you have all of that and you still are stuck, like a plot hole or a gap or a story gap, or you don't know what's next, you don't know what to focus on, then you can go to nature. For me, then I can go to nature and pull from nature just to get me through to the next bit, whatever that needs to be. But don't go for agenda. If I start putting agenda in there, it becomes preachy and the whole thing can sort of collapse. And finally, sort of the synthesis of those two. These last 3 are all kind of the same thing. These last 4 are all kind of the same thing. Virtues as values, nature for inspiration, no agenda, and the direction is your destination. And that's a two-part direction as destination. So the doing of this, all I want to get to is a place where this becomes easier and I have more people working with me. So clear conscience has to be the basis for me to work. Do it with no money, pencil and a Sharpie. Love the doing of it. Using consistent virtues as values and nature for inspiration with no agenda makes the process of it, makes the journey the destination, the direction is the destination. So in doing it, so if I can do those things as a full-time, and I have it right now, I have a job, but the job just pays the bills and all my other time is spent on this. So I'm as happy as I can be. And I'm gonna show this today. So this is kind of cool. This is the cover, and on the two sides, the first side I've changed the kids. They're doing a kickflip and skating past the fire hydrant. And here's mom and the son and the little girl and the dog, and they fit perfectly, and both sides fit, and I can take this with me wherever I go, and there's going to be a lot more to add to it, but I'm super happy. I've spent the last few days working on this composition, and it's almost ready to start getting lit and rendered and inked, and I haven't had to ask anyone for help. This is so much fun. So I hope you have something like this. I want to ask people for help, but I'm not at a point where, with the video game, I need about $500 of help, and it's not fair to ask for that for free. With this, I'm just, it's just time. So with the prayer blocks, I need about $500 of tools and materials to make that, to test a version of it. But once I have a prototype, I'm going to take it to this very famous guy who happens to have a wood shop, and his the guy who does the brand two of the brands that he rides for, one of his good friends might appreciate something like prayer blocks. So we'll see. It would be really cool just to show it to them and to be able to say, I got to say, look, living in LA is really kind of awesome. I told this story once before, but I met Glenn Danzig at Golden Apple comic book store as he was browsing through the racks, and I knew who he was. He was wearing a leather jacket and a Wolverine. I think he may have been wearing a Wolverine t-shirt, and I walked up right next to him and said, "Yo, man, I always thought you'd have made a great Wolverine," and I made his day. So whatever drama there is about him, he made my life with the Misfits, and I don't have them here, but these guys have licensed Glenn's. They've got the Misfits stuff all over the Zero brand. So, and it's pretty much all I listen to when I go skating. So, whatever I can do to give back. I'm sure he'll make a cameo in the comic. He's got his own line of comics. But it's so awesome to live out here. It's so awesome to be doing all this. It's so awesome. I was collecting comics in the Marine Corps when I was down in Camp Pendleton. But when you're young and you haven't done everything yet, like if I'd have known that I would be who I am now back then, I'd have been way more insufferable. So it's probably a good thing I've been a little more humble most of my life. And I'm really humiliated now by this art not going as fast as I'd like it to, but it's really coming along and I'm super happy with it. So I hope you guys are having as good a summer as I am, and wherever you are, just ride out World War III doing something you love. All right, see you guys. Love you.